by all the latest research and habits that I've shared with more than 7 million people around the world. You're about to learn it. It's something that I created called the 5-second rule. Not the drop the food on the floor, right? And you can pick it up and blow off the dog hair and eat the food, and it's safe to eat. This is a 5-second rule that I created at a time in my life when things really stunk. And I'm going to tell you that story in a minute, and then I'm going to tell you the crazy things that happened in my life once I discovered this extraordinarily simple tool that will help you change anything. And the reason why it will help you change anything, guys, is because it's the secret to how you change. And I'm going to unpack it all for you. I'm so excited for you to learn this. I also want you to know that in addition to working for CNN, you're looking at a woman that has launched and sold 2 companies. I'm in the middle of building a 3rd. I'm married to a serial entrepreneur. And so I know what it's like, having been raised by small business owners, being a 4th generation entrepreneur, to build your own business. I also know how cool it is to show your kids that kind of life. That's right. And so there's something I want to show you right up, is that if you like what you've heard, in order to make your life easy, I've made most of these slides available to you, okay? So at the very end, I'm going to show you this slide where you can take out your phone, you can text the word courage to that number. I'll show it to you again. You don't have to buy anything, you don't have to sign up anything. That's just to make your life easier. Now let's get into the story. So about 10 years ago, my husband quit his job, and he and his best friend opened up a pizza restaurant. I grew up in Western Michigan, but I now live outside of Boston, and this was a restaurant in the Boston area. Now, the first restaurant went swimmingly. Great location. They got really lucky. They had a delicious product. There's my husband, and what ended up happening is, like a lot of people in small business, they ended up making a couple mistakes. Have you ever heard the term sunk costs? Sunk costs is a cognitive bias where if you throw a ton of money and time into something, if it starts failing, you have a really hard time letting go of it. If you haven't done it in business, you've done it in a relationship. Well, what happened with Chris and his best friend Jonathan is that they had somebody ask them if they'd start doing wholesale because they liked the pizzas so much, so they did. And then within a year, that grocery store chain that had them doing wholesale decided they'd bring it in-house, and they were stuck with a commissary. They then opened a 2nd location, and that location, it wasn't the right location. That's going to happen in your business. You're going to do things that are not going to work out. The question's going to be, can you recover quickly? Can you get your game back? Can you experience more? Can you find your groove fast? Well, let me show you that 2nd restaurant. It was double the size of the first one. And it was built out wrong. They had booths all the way around. And you know when you go into a restaurant, what do you say when somebody says, where would you like to sit? You say, do you have a booth open? And the problem is the booths were on the outside, so whenever you walked into the restaurant, it looked like this all the time, because people were sitting in the booths. So within 8 months, the thing was just clearly not working. So clearly not working that they held on to it for too long, and it was an $800,000 loss. And like a lot of small business owners, I don't know about you, but I didn't have that kind of money lying around. What happened is our entire home equity line, goodbye. Kids' college savings, so long. And I had some stuff going on in my career at that time. And what happened is, when something hits you in life, we all respond to it differently. We're all so similar in so many ways, and yet sometimes how we react to stress and how we react to setback is really unique to each of us. And what would happen? Because we had a lien on the house, and we were talking about bankruptcy, and let me tell you, I was so angry at him. And it wasn't his fault. I mean, it wasn't like he tried to fail. I was just scared. So the alarm would go off at 6 o'clock at night, or 6 o'clock in the morning, and Chris would spring out of bed like a jackrabbit. And he would leave, and he would go, and he would try to work on the business, and I would lay there, and I would have all these feelings. And the first feeling was overwhelmed. And the second feeling was dread. And as I had these feelings, and I would say to myself, well, how do I feel about getting up today? You've had those days, right? Where you say to yourself, gosh, how do I feel? And then you think about it for a second, just a second. And that's all it takes. That's all it takes for you to hold yourself back. Right there. That 5-second window. You wake up, you feel dread, you ask yourself, how do I feel about doing this thing I know I should do? You think about it, and then boom, you hold yourself back. Now, here's what happened to me. And we're going to talk a lot about this. There's something that's called the knowledge action gap. What's interesting about building the business that you're building is that you've got everything you need. You've got all of the support that you need, you have incredible products, you've got this remarkable philosophy about health and wellness, you've got a global organization behind you, you've got amazing marketing materials, you've got training, you've got everything you need. You know exactly what you need to do. See, knowing what you need to do just makes you smart. Pushing yourself to do it some days takes courage. So I was stuck between knowing I needed to get out of bed, yet I couldn't make myself do it. Now at this point in the story, I was 41 years old. I knew how to get out of bed. It was my feelings that were stopping me. And for about 2 months, I would do that thing. Have you ever done that thing where you go to bed, and right before you fall asleep, you do this, you go, all right, tomorrow's gonna be different. Tomorrow, I am waking up on time, I'm gonna be nice to my family, I'm gonna eat healthy, I'm gonna exercise, I'm not gonna drink so much, it's gonna be a great day. And then you sleep for 7 hours and you wake up and suddenly the new you doesn't feel like the person that's in bed. So for 2 months I struggled. I knew I needed to get up, I couldn't do it. Completely stuck. I wish I had a better story, but this is the real one. So one night I was turning off the TV and I went to turn it off, and right as it was about to turn off I saw this commercial and it was a rocket launching, I kid you not, and I thought, oh, that's it. That's it. I'm gonna launch myself out of bed like a rocket tomorrow morning. It's gonna be amazing. So the next morning, the alarm went off at 6 o'clock. It was cold, it was dark, it was winter in Boston. There was still a lien on the house, I still had all the problems. I still felt overwhelmed and angry and frustrated and beaten down. But I did something I had never done before. I counted backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah. And here's what's crazy. First of all, what's crazy is it worked. Secondly, what's crazy is once it worked there, I started to notice something really irritating. Throughout my day, I had moments where I knew exactly what I should be doing, and I wasn't doing it. I wasn't eating what I was supposed to be eating, I wasn't being nice to my husband, I wasn't doing the work that scared me. There were 5-second windows all day long. We all have them, where you know exactly what you should be doing, and yet you stop and you consider how you feel about doing it. And within 5 seconds, what happens, and I'm going to unpack the science, is fascinating, is your brain takes over and your habits kick in, and you make a decision in 5 seconds, but it's a decision that's driven by self-doubt. It's a decision that's driven by fear. It's a decision that's driven by worry. It's not a decision driven by the greatest you. The 5-second rule, what ended up happening is it took over my life. My husband started using it. We used it to claw out of debt. He used it to open 7 more restaurants. I used it to change my career and get into the media business and launch and sell to other companies. And then what happened is somebody asked me to give a TED Talk about the thing. Now, I never expected 7 million people to watch it. And what I certainly never expected was to start to hear from people, because when I gave this TED Talk, guys, I didn't even talk about the 5-second rule. I talked about kind of a bunch of things about change, and at the end I go, oh yeah, and there's this thing, the 5-second rule. And then a funny thing happened. I started to hear from people around the world who were using it to create positive change, to create business, to drive sales, to save their lives. That gentleman right there tweeted out that he was on a ferry in London and had an impulse, knew he should not be jumping over the railing even though he felt like doing it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, turned around, grabbed a berther on the ship, saved his life. We all know what we should be doing. The question is, how do we make ourselves do it? So in order to make this as personal as possible, I want to find out what it is that you want this year. So the question is, this is the part of the speech where I was like, oh my gosh, a caged animal was loose. That's right. All right, so what do you want to make happen in 2016? What do you want to make happen for the rest of the year? They keep talking about, I see a hand back there. Yes, sir. Or were you stretching? He's like, uh-oh, she's coming. Come on over here. Oh, come over here. Come on over here. Hi. All right, here we go, sir. What do you want to make happen? Give him a round of applause. He's going first. Where are my families? Here we go. Yes, sir.
In one word, it's freedom, and make that become true this year.
And what does that mean specifically?
Specifically, it gives me a position to help my family and those people that I love.
Fantastic. So you want freedom this year. And what do you, tell me a little bit more, what does that actually mean? Who else wants freedom? That's right. What does that mean specifically? What do you need to do to create freedom for yourself?
Specifically, what that means to create freedom for myself is to break out of the rut of being financially deficit and to become, that part, I have you hit the nail on the head. Having information, but consistent action was what's missing.
Awesome. Well, it's not going to be missing when I'm done. I love you. Go ahead. Okay, yes. Somebody else. Okay, I'm coming back here. I know you guys thought that you were, here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, you're looking away. How about you? Oh, yes. That's how this goes. Here, come on, stand up. Give her a round of applause because she has to kill me right now. Oh, yeah. What do you want to make happen in 2016?
In 2016, I want to be more comfortable in my life, be able to help my family, be able to give everything to my kids.
And what's holding you back, honey?
I think the same thing, being consistent, following through.
And what are you afraid to do that you know you need to do?
Afraid.
Oh. Who else is afraid? You know you need to do something, but you're nervous. Yes.
That's it, getting out of my comfort zone.
Okay, terrific. You're going to love the 5-second rule. Give her a round of applause. Somebody else? Yep, right here. There we go. And would you turn around? Oh, here, stand up. Let's turn you around so they can see you right there.
So in 2016, I think the biggest thing that I want to do is I want to sing.
Sing.
Yeah.
Okay. The 5-second rule. The 5-second rule is the moment you have an impulse to do something that could enrich your life, you have 5 seconds to move, or else your brain will kill it. Do it! So, take your favorite song, just give us 30 seconds to go. 2, 1, whatever you want.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder
Had she stopped to think, wait a minute, Twinkle Twinkle, no, that's kind of stupid, that's a kid's song, should I not sing that? Had you done that? But because she just went with what was right there, was that not the most beautiful, beautiful thing? My pleasure. See, what right song. There is this guy right here. Can I get him? Okay. Can I hand him the mic? Okay, here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Can I stand on this? Okay, what are you going to do this year?
How's everybody doing? Guys, this year in 2016, I want to make this the best year ever. I know that my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ put me on this planet for a greater cause. And my goal is not about me, it's about serving everybody else. I want everybody, every single one of you, to be a double black diamond by the end of this year, guys. So my goal is still not about me, it's about leaving a legacy behind for each and every one of you. It's how I'm going to be left and how I'm going to be remembered.
So now what are you going to change about your behavior to make that happen?
I'm going to sacrifice everything, sweat and tears, to give to everybody else so that I can impact as many lives as possible.
Terrific. So ask him for help. Well done. Thank you. So here's the deal. In order to get what you want, you're going to have to change. And we're going to show you the secret to how you do it.
Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. Finally, you would dream where you are now. You would dream the dream of living the life that you are actually living today.
There is only one sensible thing to do in this empty existence, and that is fill it.
Live long and prosper.
This video, I get so frustrated because I think, do I have to put in Bowie and Prince and Muhammad Ali? I mean, time is racing, you guys. And you have plenty of time. And you are capable, truly, of doing whatever it takes to make whatever it is that you want happen, as long as you know this, that knowing what to do isn't enough. And let me show you a couple examples. This is that knowledge-action gap that I was just talking about that I was stuck in my bed when I kept hitting the snooze alarm. Every one of us has a health goal, right? Raise your hand if you want to lose weight, get in better shape, otherwise lower your cholesterol. Okay, now great. Keep your hand raised if you know exactly what you should do. Interesting. Knowing what to do will not make you lose the weight. And we don't have the same excuse as Dennis. I know, poor Dennis. Dennis was in the news last year when the rescue workers showed up at the house. He was 56 pounds. And a very sad story, his owner had a mental illness and she was only feeding him things that could get delivered to the house. Now Dennis didn't know any better. He's not a human being. He didn't know what he should do. The rescue workers did. They took him for a walk and put him on a low-fat diet. Now he's 12 pounds. Knowing what to do isn't enough. You gotta have the will to push yourself. Make the call. How many of you have a call that you're avoiding? Come on. That family member